Emmitt Smith, the guy who rewrote the rushing record books. 18,355 yards, 164 rushing touchdowns, 3 Super Bowl rings. He did it with vision, balance, and a rhythm no defender could stop. From Florida to Dallas to the Hall of Fame, he was the anchor, the closer, the standard setter. Stay with us and you'll see exactly why he's still called the greatest workhorse the NFL has ever known. Emmitt Smith grew up on the west side of Pensacola, Florida, in a working-class neighborhood where football wasn't just a game, it was a way out. His father, Emmitt Jr., drove a city bus and instilled a blue-collar work ethic in his son from day one. Young Emmitt learned to show up ready to work without making excuses, and he carried that mentality onto every football field he touched. At Escambia High School, Smith became a living legend. Over his high school career, he rushed for over 8,000 yards and scored more than 100 touchdowns. Think about that for a second. Over 100 touchdowns in high school. Parade magazine named him an All-American, and every major college program in the country knew his name. But even then, the doubters lined up. He wasn't the fastest back. His highlights didn't make you jump out of your seat. Some scouts dismissed him as just another product of a good high school system. So when college decision time arrived, Smith had plenty of options, but he chose to stay close to home and committed to the University of Florida, where head coach Galen Hall was building something special. The Gators had a crowded backfield though, and as a true freshman in 1987, nobody expected Smith to see the field much, let alone start. Then came his first collegiate start against Alabama, one of the most storied programs in college football history. Smith absolutely destroyed them. He ran for 224 yards on 39 carries and broke a Florida single-game rushing record that had stood for 57 years. Florida won the game, and the entire college football world suddenly knew who Emmitt Smith was. But that Alabama game revealed something even more important than the numbers. Smith already had his style completely figured out. He possessed vision that let him see holes before they opened. His low center of gravity gave him balance that made single tacklers look foolish. And most importantly, he ran with patience, never trying to hit the home run on every play. He'd grind out 3 yards, then 4, then wait for the defense to make one mistake and explode for 12. That intelligence separates the good from the great, and Smith had it from day one. By the time he left Florida after his junior year, Smith had tied or broken 58 school records. He led the Gators in, rushing all 3 years, and set the single-season record for 100-yard game. He did all of this with the same calm, workmanlike approach that would define his entire career. Smith didn't waste time trying to make SportsCenter highlights. He understood that football games get won 3 yards at a time, and he dedicated himself to mastering those 3-yard gains. Here's what made his college career so crucial. Smith proved that his style could dominate elite competition. The SEC in the late 80s was absolutely stacked with future NFL talent, and week after week, Smith made them all look slow. He wasn't outrunning anybody because he never relied on pure speed. Instead, he outthought defenders. He'd press the line of scrimmage to force linebackers to commit, then cut back into the space they abandoned. Television made it look easy. It absolutely wasn't. After his junior year, Smith decided to enter the 1990 NFL Draft. That's when the real debate exploded. Despite everything he'd accomplished, despite all the records and film and production, the doubters multiplied. NFL scouts loved his vision and balance, but they worried about his speed. His 40-yard dash time looked decent, but not elite. Some teams thought he stood too small at 5'9", 216 pounds, but one team saw exactly what they needed. The Dallas Cowboys were an absolute disaster when Jimmy Johnson took over in 1989. They'd gone 1-15 the year before. The roster looked paper thin. The fan base was drowning in frustration. But Johnson had a vision, and it started with building through the draft. In 1989, they took Troy Aikman first overall. In 1990, they held the 17th pick in the first round, and they were staring at a decision that would define the next decade of their franchise. Johnson and his staff kept rewinding the same tape. Emmitt Smith, vision, balance, toughness, the ability to turn 2 yards into 5. The kind of back who could carry 25 times and still look fresh in the fourth quarter. So they pulled the trigger. With the 17th pick in the 1990 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys selected Emmitt Smith, running back from the University of Florida. From day one, he delivered everything they thought he would. Smith rushed for 937 yards as a rookie with 11 touchdowns, and the league named him Offensive Rookie of the Year. But the numbers only told half the story. Watch how he got those yards. He ran with patience. He set up his blockers perfectly. He made defenders miss in tight spaces. And most importantly, He protected the football like it was made of gold. In a league where rookie running backs fumble their way to the bench, Smith became a model of ball security. But 1990 was just the opening act. Over the next 3 years, Emmitt Smith didn't just become one of the best running backs in football, he became the engine that powered one of the greatest dynasties in NFL history. In 1991, Smith won his first NFL rushing title with 1,563 yards. The Cowboys finished 11-5 and made the playoffs for the first time since 1985. Then, in 1992, everything clicked into place. Dallas went 13-3. Smith rushed for 1,713 yards, won his second straight rushing title, and led the Cowboys to a Super Bowl 27 victory over the Buffalo Bills. He was just 23 years old, and he already wore a championship ring. But the 1993 season transformed Smith from a great player into an absolute legend. The season opened with serious drama. Smith held out for a better contract and missed the first 2 games of the year. Without him, the Cowboys went 0-2. The offense looked completely lost. The defense couldn't get off the field. Dallas desperately needed Emmitt back. So when he finally signed and returned to the lineup, everything changed immediately. The Cowboys won their next 7 games. The offense found its rhythm again, and Smith reminded everyone why he was the most important player on that team. Then came the game that defined his entire career. Week 18 at Giants Stadium. The Cowboys and New York Giants were battling for the NFC East title. A win meant Dallas gets the division and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. A loss meant the Giants take it all. The stakes couldn't possibly be higher. Early in the second quarter, Smith took a handoff and got hit hard. He went down, and immediately, everyone could see something was seriously wrong. He'd separated his shoulder, the kind of painful injury that sidelines most players for weeks. But this was Emmitt Smith, and there was absolutely no way he was coming out of that game. He stayed in and absolutely dominated through the pain. Smith carried the ball 32 times for 168 yards. He caught 10 passes for 61 yards. He scored a touchdown, and in overtime, he helped set up the game-winning field goal. The Cowboys won 16-13, clinched the division, and Smith played every single snap with a separated shoulder. After the game, reporters asked him how he managed to do it. His answer captured everything about him. My team needed me. No theatrics, no dramatic speech, just a guy who refused to let his teammates down when it mattered most. The Cowboys went on to win Super Bowl 28, and the league named Smith both NFL MVP and Super Bowl MVP. At 24 years old, he had 2 rings, 3 straight rushing titles, and a reputation as one of the toughest players in the entire league. But he wasn't finished yet. In 1995, after a brief dip in team success, the Cowboys roared back to dominance. Smith rushed for 1,773 yards and set an NFL record with 25 rushing touchdowns in a single season. The Cowboys won Super Bowl 30, giving Smith his 3rd ring in 4 years. And through all of this success, the criticism kept pouring in. People said he only looked good because of his offensive line. The legendary Great Wall of Dallas, featuring Larry Allen, Nate Newton, Eric Williams, and Mark Twinney. They said any running back could succeed behind that group. They said he was getting too many carries and would break down soon. But here's the thing. Emmitt Smith didn't waste energy responding to critics. He just kept showing up, kept running hard, and kept winning championships. That's what truly great players do. They let their work speak louder than any words ever could. After 3 Super Bowl wins in 4 years, you'd think the Cowboys Dynasty would roll on forever, but the NFL doesn't work that way. Jimmy Johnson left after the 1993 season. Barry Switzer took over and won a title in 1995, but the tension between him and the front office was impossible to ignore. Key players left in free agency, and by the late 90s, Dallas no longer dominated the league the way they once did. But through all this upheaval, Emmitt Smith kept grinding away. From 1996 to 2001, Smith rushed for over 1,000 yards every single season. 6 straight years of consistent excellence. And he accomplished this without the same level of talent around him. Troy Aikman battled through injuries. Michael Irvin retired after the 1999 season. The Cowboys cycled through coaching changes and roster turnover, but Smith remained the one constant. And people started noticing something remarkable about how his game was aging. He wasn't relying on breakaway speed because he never had in the first place. He was winning with vision, balance, and an understanding of leverage that only comes from years of experience. He'd absorb contact and fall forward for an extra 2 yards every single time. He'd turn 2nd and 10 into 3rd and 3, then convert that 3rd down with another powerful run. This separates the good from the truly great, the ability to evolve and adapt as your body changes over time. But the most impressive part? The durability. Running backs aren't supposed to last this long in the NFL. The position beats you down. The average NFL running back's career lasts less than 3 years. And here was Emmitt Smith, deep into his 30s, still carrying the ball 20 times a game and still producing at an elite level. Then the 2002 season arrived, and with it came the chase for history that everyone had been watching. Walter Payton's all-time rushing record of 16,726 yards had stood untouched since 1987. Most people considered it unbreakable. Payton was sweetness, one of the most beloved players in NFL history, and his record felt sacred to football fans everywhere. But Emmitt Smith was closing in fast. As the 2002 season began, Smith needed just 908 yards to break the record. Everyone knew it was going to happen. The only question was when. And every week, as he crept closer, the anticipation grew throughout the league. The media covered every single carry. Fans debated whether Smith deserved to hold the record. Some insisted Payton was the better back. Others argued that Smith played on better teams with superior blocking. But Smith didn't get caught up in any of the noise. He just kept doing what he'd always done, showing up every Sunday. October 27th, Texas Stadium. The Seattle Seahawks came to town. Smith entered the game needing just 93 yards to pass Payton. The energy felt absolutely electric. And in the fourth quarter, history happened right before everyone's eyes. Made one quick cut and exploded through the hole for an 11-yard gain. That play put him at 16,727 yards, 1 yard ahead of Walter Payton for the all-time record. The crowd absolutely erupted. His teammates mobbed him on the field in celebration. And Smith, ever the consummate professional, took it all in with grace and humility. He finished the game with 109 yards total. And when reporters surrounded him afterward, he said something that perfectly captured who he was. "This is a bittersweet moment for me because of the man whose record I just broke." Walter Payton was the epitome of what a running back should be. Durable. I only hope I can represent this record with the same dignity he did. Not flashy, not loud, just a dedicated worker who respected the game and honored the legends who came before him. And in that moment, standing at the top of the mountain that took 15 years to climb, he showed exactly why he belonged there. After the 2002 season, Smith's time in Dallas came to an end. The Cowboys were rebuilding, and they wanted to give younger players their chance. So in 2003, Smith signed with the Arizona Cardinals, giving himself one more opportunity to add to his legacy. The first year in Arizona hit him hard. Smith dealt with injuries and only played in 10 games, rushing for 256 yards. People immediately started saying he was finished, that he should have retired in Dallas, that he was tarnishing his legacy by hanging on too long. But in 2004, Smith proved every single one of them wrong one more time. At 35 years old, an age when most running backs have been retired for years, he rushed for 937 yards and 9 touchdowns. He showed flashes of the old Emmitt, the vision, the balance, the supernatural ability to find creases that seemed to not exist. And while the Cardinals only went 6-10, Smith gave them something they desperately needed: a true professional who knew how to compete at the highest level every single week. After the 2004 season, Smith finally hung up his cleats. He finished his career with 18,355 rushing yards, 164 rushing touchdowns, and 4,409 carries. Every single one an NFL record. He'd played 15 seasons, made 9 Pro Bowls, won 3 Super Bowls, and earned league MVP honors. In 2010, the Pro Football Hall of Fame inducted Emmitt Smith on the first ballot. No debate, no controversy. But Smith's story doesn't end with football. After retiring, he transitioned into business and founded E. Smith Advisors, a real estate development and investment firm. He approached business the exact same way he approached football, with patience, thorough preparation, and a willingness to grind it out for long-term success. He also surprised the entire world by winning Dancing with the Stars in 2006, proving that his balance and rhythm weren't just useful on a football field. And through all of this, he remained deeply involved in the game, mentoring young running backs and teaching them what it actually takes to last in the NFL. So let me bring it all back to the beginning. How good was Emmitt Smith actually? Was he just a product of a great offensive line? Was Barry Sanders more talented? Would Walter Payton have broken all the records if he'd played for Dallas? Here's the honest truth. None of that matters anymore. Because at the end of the day, Emmitt Smith accomplished something that nobody else in NFL history has ever done. He showed up for 15 years, carried the ball more than anyone, gained more yards than anyone, scored more touchdowns than anyone, and won 3 championships while doing it. He wasn't the fastest back in the league. He wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the flashiest runner you'd ever see. But he was the most durable, the most consistent, and the most relentless player at his position. And that's exactly why, when you talk about the greatest running backs of all time, his name always enters the conversation. Not because of one incredible highlight, not because of one monster season, but because for 15 years, week after week, game after game, carry after carry, Emmitt Smith set the standard that everyone else measured themselves against. He set the bar at the absolute top, and to this day, nobody's managed to clear it. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Emmitt Smith's legendary career, make sure to hit that subscribe button and check out our other videos breaking down the greatest players in NFL history. Because greatness doesn't always arrive with flash and highlight reels. Sometimes it comes with vision, balance, and an absolute refusal to quit.